What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 28 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Thorgrim Grudgebearer Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, we have reached tall victory. 272 out of 272 settlements looted, razed, sacked, or occupied. Primarily occupied. By and large, as somebody said, I'm pathologically incapable of raising anything and have to occupy everything. Anyway, we reached the domination campaign victory, and it's turn 100 in Old World campaign, in the Old World map, whatever. We have 255 settlements owned, 78 provinces, and 652,000 gold per turn. Truly an age of retribution. But the age goes on, I've said it before, but as long as interest in a campaign remains, and this campaign is pretty popular, definitely top 3 campaigns on the channel, in my opinion, and I think many of you share that. Anyway, as long as interest remains, the campaign will continue, more mountains to be united, and the shield of civilization to be reforged, as, well, the Umgi can't be trusted to do it themselves. Anyway, let's start. Thorgrim, you're first today, as are you always. You're gonna head down to Nakara, which, we can only take a tier 3, but not a big deal. Anyway, you'll head down to Nakara, and you'll occupy that real quick, and let's see. I mean, you could fight this, but frankly, at this point, Thorgrim basically stops short of anything less than 2 stacks at a time, ideally 3, but yeah, a single little stack of Savage Orcs ain't gonna hold him back. We don't need this, but we will upgrade the Dwarf Hold immediately here, and we will also go for the High King's Tribute, immediately build up the defenses here, and the Cinnabar Mining Pit, and then we'll put the Karaz Ankor vaults into Nakara. All of the territory here is going to be fortified. Basically, I want the Badlands fortified, and I want all of the mountains that are outside of our central territories, which are money-making territories, to be fortified as well. And we'll continue in that line, because these things are clearly somewhat fortified already, and we're working on getting them even more heavily fortified. There was a request in the previous episode to peace out with Katep and let him live, and you know what? Fine, we could do that. Katep, you want the military alliance? Oh wow, you don't want the military access though, which is kind of interesting. Is that more worth it than the defensive alliance would be to us, I wonder? I guess it wouldn't get us into any wars. Yeah, alright, fine. We're probably gonna transfer him some territory if all of the other factions that we have friendly don't get super angry at us for this, but, well, we'll see. Now, these guys might grow a little bit more friendly with Katep if he's allied with us. And I like the fact that he kind of likes us despite the fact that we took his pretty strong empire out. I mean, he had a lot of territory. He was doing well for himself. I think he was in the top 10 or 20 strength ranks on the map, and he still likes us well enough, so why not? Oh, don't take his money. We'll probably give him some money instead. Peace treaty, let's do non-aggression and military access for now. It won't give us a vision. Oh, and he's willing to trade. Okay, I do want to see, though. Okay, so this is funny. They don't like the military actions, but they do like the treaties with them. We'll see how everybody else feels about these guys, because the Imperials tend not to like them, but at the same time, with treaties with us, that might fix some of the situation. Do the trade agreement as well, 6.6k per turn, and Katep's already going to positive despite losing all of our territory. We might give him some of the swamp territories here, as long as he doesn't take any of the mountains. I don't really care so much about most of the Badlands stuff. It's just the sort of key dwarf settlements that we want. Anyway, Joseph of Zorn, sir, you are proceeding towards Bajarak's last stand. You are going to go burn down Imric, but alas, why is it faster to go like this than along the road? Zamir, is that strange? Now, go along the road anyway. Yeah, you were going to burn down Imric, but both Malice and this random little faction of rats decided to declare war on us. I find this amusing because, I mean, imagine declaring war on the Karaz Ankor in its current state. Like, this is pre-war, well, it's not quite there yet, but it's getting close to pre-War of the Beard levels, Karaz Ankor, and yeah, it's a bad idea, but whatever. Anyway, Joseph Zorn has moved a rear guards. You know, I think they've served their purpose. They've done their duty. They're kind of just... What's the word for this? I don't escapes my mind, but there's too many of them. Too many lords and heroes in this tree, and I think we're just going to get rid of them. It'll cause us a loss of several thousand, maybe the 10,000 gold per turn. I don't know, a lot. But I don't think that matters at this point in time. And bloating, that's the word. I was thinking of like software bloat, but anyway, bloatware. Their rear guards are now bloatware. Okay, sorry, rear guards, but yeah, it'll make the admin in the future a little bit easier to not have you on field anymore. So we're going to get you out. Alright, we'll reset them just in case we need them again, because they are all level 15, 16, 17, etc. They've been around for a long time gathering XP, so we might bring them back, but there's no need for them anymore here. Even in the Silver Road, even in our main territory. So it just dropped by about, I want to say 2,000 goldish. Braun Hammerfist, you're also going to come in handy, but we will reset you as well. Because while he isn't a rear guard, he was kind of serving as one, so yeah. There's another rear guard here. Rearguard Barak, you're not needed here. Alright, and the public order should still be fine. Plus 18 here, and how about the silver load? Plus 38 still. Yeah, we're okay. And I think we had one more rear guard, which was you, but you... we might actually use you to recruit some stuff. Okay, you go here. Because Dimzad Blackbeard is on the way, and we're going to want to fight some of these guys. Let's do this. Let's get you some hammerers. Funnily enough, we've barely been using hammerers outside of the sort of main hammerers that we have, so, yeah. We'll start with that. We could build some gyrocopters. It feels a little mean to do that to Khorne, I will admit, but it is what it is. On the other hand, it would mean that this army gets online a little bit faster. Oh, you know what we don't actually have? We don't have gyro bombers in significant amounts anywhere. Huh, you know what? This was kind of Thorgrim's original plan before we sort of switched it. Let's do gyro bombers, hammers, and then something else. I like it a lot. The gyro bombers it is. Even if it is a little bit mean to Khorne, it is not something that we've done. Whoa. Kolek, what are you doing out there, bud? You're about to get wrecked by Grimrindel, I guess. You're a little bit damaged, but I don't think you care. Minus the fact that we might suffer attrition in the water here. Ah, 2.7k. Man. Well, that's a shame. We could leave him for next turn. What if he takes Hall of Urslow, though? I wonder if he'd be capable of it. He could also just run away, and then that would be just as annoying. Man. Maybe he can't take Oliver, so alright, I'm gonna risk not moving. Gromby, stay here, and I was about to say go into ambush stance, but that's not gonna work. Yeah, just stay here. We'll see what Kolek does. Even if he lands, we might be able to fight him off. I'd rather save it for the next stage of Reckoning, which might be impossible if it's like 300,000 grudges, but, you know, we're gonna have to wait and see. Now, Finnark Andreskelson, you are next, and I guess you're gonna go to the Stinking Geysers. We should proceed up to Ekrund as fast as we can, and you can reach it. I'm a little bit worried that somebody else takes the Stinking Geysers, though. Nonetheless, Ekrund is more critical, though it would put us into a border with the Skaven. And you know what, let's go to Stinking Geysers first, and we'll go back. Also, you're still damaged, so we gotta be careful with you. Careful-ish. And on the way you go. Like so, valiant defeat, and oh, they have a full stack there. Oh, it's Wurzag there. Oh, I didn't realize that. I actually wanted his defeat trait. I mean, it's not like Thorgrim really needs it. I think Wurzag has... does he have missile resistance? Or physical resistance or something? And what the heck? Why can't we... battering ram? Huh? What do you mean, no? We have no labor force? All we could do is build battering rams? I mean, I guess we don't really need them because this army is guns, but it's still kind of weird. I've never seen this before. Oh, well, you just sit there. And 338 turns remaining until wiped out from attrition. What the heck? What's doing that? That's really interesting. Huh, is this some kind of bug? Because it's strange. Well, either way, we're besieging, so we might as well get a few points in there. I think we got everything that we wanted out of the red line, so we're moving to break open the casks. Seasoned Marksman, and I'm gonna guess Blade Shield, and to break open the casks, and I guess let's get your Rune of Grimnir as well. Alright, let's do the Thane and the Runesmith. You have Rune Master and are trying to go to strike the runes, so let's strike them like so. Easy. Next up, the Thane. I guess we'll go through Inherited Arms into Revered Thane. You gotta get that Glittering Scales and Patriarch cooldown. Engineers, you have, okay, Organ Gun Mastery and Cannon Mastery now maxed out, and that's the only thing that you guys need. At least that was super important. You have We Are the Elite. We could increase mobility here, I guess. Or we could just start with Sapper for repositioning faster. Yeah, you know what, let's make the missile troops move faster. It's still pretty important to do. You have been saving your points because you want both the Organ Gun Mastery and the Cannon Mastery. We have Requisition Triangulation, but we are missing We Are the Elite. Alright, let's see what those cannons are looking like now. 999 missile strength, so hitting harder than little Groms do on the cannons, and they're still growing in strength. 2.5k on the Sweet Music, which is got the Rune of Penetration, so that should giggle, and then 1.8k. Huh, actually a fairly big difference on the Melody of Destruction here. Nice. Alrighty, well, we'll see if these guys sally out. We've got a lot of that Savage Orc physical resistance to be a little bit concerned about. Actually, it would be nice if we could, you know, not kill Wurzag if we managed to get Thorgrim up there. He's kind of out of the way, but I'll think about it. Anyway, it's not like we're super concerned about acquiring those defeat traits at this point. Anyway, Thorek, I was going to send you up to grab the Reaping Field, but since Archaon appears to be moving down towards us, I think what we'll do instead is move you here, the edge of our own territory, like so, and we'll see what Archie does. In fact, speaking of Archie, oh, and it's Tamarkan that took Fort Dolganyar, so I guess he's here too. And Kairos, yes. Alright, everybody, come at Thorek. Let's see if you can handle the strength of tradition. War Coast of the Apocalypse. Let's see if you're willing to play. We're not going to call our allies because I don't want them breaking our alliances. Alright, now we're at war with these guys, and, huh, that's weird. Now we can't see, oh, whatever. We can't see Archaon. We will level up for this because there's some dangerous forces running around. We don't need any of this, I take it. In theory, Grimnir's Heirs might be nice to just buff the single unit, but, you know, buff of a single unit isn't that much. Let's go through Obstinacy, which is great, and while we will obviously always also want to power up all the runes, Thorek, being the rune lord here, and has the least rune capabilities of them all, is kind of entertaining, but, well, it won't last forever. Indomitable for you, Inherited Arms as well, and I still haven't decided whether we're going to keep you in this army, though he's been around for a long time now. It feels like a waste, though we could put him into another army. That would be, that would work fine as well. You have Damping. You weirdly don't have Rune of Oath and Steel, however, and it's really good, so I think we'll get that. I think it's because that guy was confederated from Thorek originally, and that's why. You have Grudge Throwers maxed out. We're not getting Zufbar 42 pounders because of the grumbling. I guess we'll go for Sapper. Alrighty, and we still need another engineer. You guys, you have Rune of Hearth and Home and Wardbreaker. We are the Elite, Hardened Armor. Most of these stuff that's super needed. I guess we should max out Wrath and Ruin, Rune of Oath and Steel, and Rune of Speed. Or, actually, we have 3 points, so we could go to Strike the Runes. Yeah, no. Click the wrong thing. Undo assigned skill points. Yeah, let's do this. Rune of Negation, a Rune of Breaking, and Strike the Runes. There we go. Get these guys as rune-y as possible. That's a word. And then same with you, then. Strike the Runes. And lastly, the other Thane. You have Guardian, you have everything that's needed here, including Revered Thane. Oh, and you even have Rune of Grimnir. That was the important stuff. I mean, I guess you might have to be trying to hold Archaon off, and I guess you'll need hard to hit for that, even though I think even if you had 200, it would still be a difficult time for you. There's also Kairos to consider. We'll see how all that miscast chance works for us, and whether it actually does anything. We do have Eldred's Casket of Sorcery here as well, but Kairos has a minus 50% miscast chance in his tree, so I think he counteracts all the miscast chance we give him anyway. So it probably does nothing against Kairos, funnily enough. Oh well. The next thing is Gautry Holdfast. Now, I'm thinking that we're probably going to have to wipe Drycha out. The problem is she really doesn't like us. And as much as I'd hate to attack Drycha, I think it might be necessary. We can't just leave these. Granted, she'll be not as angry at the Imperials, but still angry enough. And plus, I think her owning territory in the Empire still counts for their loss of Imperial authority, which means public order reduction everywhere. It's only a -4, I'll admit, but -4 with the provinces of low control is still causing our Imperial allies a lot of trouble. So, sorry, Drycha, it's just going to have to happen this way. Oh, she's not at war with anybody, so she probably has a couple of full stacks running around, and I believe Akka the Forgotten is still holding the... still holding the Nemesis crown as well. What do we have here? Okay, these things are easy takes. Alright, you're gonna go here. Declare war. Don't call allies. Sorry, Drycha. And I don't see Drycha herself. I do wonder where she is. She's not fighting chaos because she's not at war with anybody. Alright, like so. Free Talisman of Preservation at the very least. Don't collect the income, immediately upgrade the place, and immediately build, I don't know, military structures. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to be transferring over to our Imperial allies eventually. King Azrael, then... I guess since it's on the way, we'll take a couple of more of Drycha's territories while on the way to the Silver Pinnacle. Also, we should probably quick save just in case. Oh, I hope that this doesn't hurt the Frostworms. Ooh, okay, it's at least the outposts are too weak to actually bother the Frostworms. Another Red Axe of Karak 8 Peaks, another student that will alas we no longer need those, and build the place up immediately. Alright, and that was kind of out of order, but what can you do? Gromby, you're sitting pretty because you're waiting to see what Kolek does. What the heck? Why? We used to be able to see a bunch of lords and stuff, and then we did something, and then all of our extra vision disappeared because we can no longer see Kolek. Something weird's happening. Anyway, Brugard Draxlayer. I mean, you're kind of serving the same purpose as the... Oh, and you also have kind of a met trait. Yeah, I think we're just going to reset you as well. You have no items, right? No, it doesn't matter. Alright, reset your skill points. We might bring him back, but it's not like anybody here now can easily attack Bugmans, and the brewery wouldn't fall for anything short of 2 stacks, I think. Unless the Wood Elves declare war on us and try that, it's still a distinct possibility. Oh, we have another rearguard here. Oh, right, this guy. Right. He was waiting here to try to acquire the Dream Wine, but it just never happened. Reset your skill points. Alright, there we go. Less lords sort of mucking up and bloating this portion of our lords and heroes list. Dwinbar Ranulfson, Axestorm. You are going to head to Ublug. The only thing is that the Plague is up and running for one more turn, and it might be better that we wait. Although, admittedly, you're in our own Plagueinated territory. Actually, you're not. You're in Rusty Dagger's hold. Alright, you know what? Go into ambush stance here. We'll see if this guy tries to move, and then we'll move against him next turn. Hopefully, we can deplaguify ourselves. And we shall see. Alrighty, who's up next? And, oh, did I start doing things out of order again? I did, didn't I? Dwinbar Ranulfson. Oh, maybe I didn't. Alright, Callan Helldauer. You were supposed to do something. You can't reach Vlad. You're still supposed to move north together with Bugman. Actually, speaking of Bugman, go to Worden, please. Your army is fully maxed out now, unless I'm mistaken. And we... close victory. Huh. I wonder if we can auto-resolve it and then maybe Vlad would attack, yeah? Remains to be seen. Man, he keeps building those Sylvanian crossbows every turn. Alright, you're gonna go here. I assume he can't... oh, he can actually reach... Can we defend this place somehow? What would be the straightest line? Ugh, I don't like that. Alright, you are gonna go here. And you're gonna go into ambush. And I guess you're gonna go right here, in case Vlad goes this way. Hopefully it's not like this and around you. It would be annoying if it was, but we'll see. Alright, at least you got a decently high value of ambush chance. What's this? Altern force. Alrighty. I assume somebody else is up next. Go figure. Dwinbar Ranulfson, you're fine. Groth Barak, yes, you are moving through the swamp territories. Assuming that Ublug will be taken out by Dwinbar Ranulfson, you're free to go through Reekmarsh down to, well, Reekmarsh, and that's where you're going. I was going to send him up to take Nakara to allow Thorgrim to go northward, which we might still do, but we'll see. Gotta burn all these greenskins out of the Marshes of Madness. Alrighty, anybody else? Grothbarak just moved. Morgus Death Dealer is fine because he's recruiting. Stochel Gundrickson is supposed to move. I guess, look, you're gonna go to Kazad Citizen. We're gonna try to go to Lakoros with maybe somebody else. Wait. I mean, this is as far as you can go anyway, so just auto-resolve this. I should have quick saved that just in case, but whatever. Occupy. Ooh, okay. Every time it like lags a little bit, a few frames get dropped, I get worried that it's going to crash again. And you can lose that Ranger's Quiver because you're not a real army. Although, what trait do you have? No, your trait isn't horrible, Valeo's Grace. I mean, it does nothing for the rest of the army, but we could give you some Slayers later. Or just force your entire army to take the Slayer oath. Also, before I forget, Herod Grundadrak, you defeated these Skaven with the Fire Slayers the last episode. But you actually have to take the location. Like so. Occupy. Very nice. And we take it at tier, what? 4? Oh, we don't have the, yeah, that's alright. Alright, demolish this building, demolish the Thane building, and I guess the Rangers barracks. Maybe keep the Foundry. Actually, we might not have room for it right now. Well, actually depends on whether we keep the, oh, you know what? If we keep the Monument of Grimnir here, we can move Stochel here to acquire some Slayers. Could sort of mix the Slayers with a bunch of other troops. Maybe that's the way. Alrighty, anyway, Fester's Spike is now ours. Don't collect the income for now. Go into High King's Tribute, and, well, we'll retool it as needed. Alright, who else is out here? Mr. Scav Holdfast, and, okay, Kazran Grimbrow. We can have you take Kazad Frukund. I guess we can move Brock Ironpick to reinforce. We'll just auto-resolve this, because it's... Although, wait, let me just see what's going on there. Oh, I thought it was up. I thought I was looking at Karak Buffdar, but we're not. It's actually 2 stacks. Maybe we'll fight this. Can't say no to a nice fight, after all. Anyway, we'll see about that, and of course I've started doing things out of order, as I always have a tendency to do. So that was Kazran Grimbrow. Morngard doesn't need to move. Belegar, you do need to move. As to where, you're obviously going to Broken Tooth Camp, as it's the only option. And you're getting closer and closer to those elves now. Alright, so everybody is, or the Imperials at least, are not liking the treaties with the Exiles of Nehek, but hopefully they'll stay friendly. You are going to besiege this, and, this is also 0. What the heck? Did one of the patches break something with regards to besieging stuff? What is this 50 turns of, until they're wiped out from attrition? That wasn't the thing before, right? This is 50, this is 338. And I feel like, I don't know, I could see that happening against the Dwarfs maybe, but against the Orcs? What the heck? Weird. I don't know what's up with it. We'll figure it out, or we'll just stay as we are. Anyway, Ungrim, it is time for you to do 2 things. Thing the first, you have a fight to be fighting. Axe of Dargo, which I forgot to do last turn, so we're gonna do right now. In his last battle, a reverie came upon Ungrim again. Whilst in the midst of slaying, he felt a discordant note among the otherwise perfect rhythm of battle. The guild's council suspect that in revealing its song to Ungrim, his axe was attempting to make itself whole once more, a feat only possible in a place closer to the ancestor gods, and against an adversary of great skill in battlecraft. Thus, the Slayer King must march upon a great ruinous host, which is my favorite kind of host, entrenched in the mountains beneath the dread banner of a mighty lord of chaos. As the throng travels north, the symphony rises to a crescendo, and Ungrim's axe pulses in his hands. Alrighty, also before I forget, we should probably get you a few points. I guess Honored by Grimnir is really the only thing you need anyway, so your red line is fine. Is it at last time to make you a fighter, a stronger fighter? I guess we should probably still get Ruinous Rival and Great Green Nemesis, admittedly. Oh, and you also want the Obstinacy and Rune of Grimnir. I'm going to hope that you have enough points to actually attribute everything that you want, because this is 6 points. It's a fair bit. Nonetheless, start with the Ruinous Rival, because we'll be fighting some Ruinous powers here. And you have 3 points. I guess we'll do Rune Master first before Strike the Runes. You already have Hardened Armor, which is the main thing that we wanted here, and go into Rune Master, please. What about you? I guess we'll go for Survivalist, get you 6,000 HP, it's not bad. And Blade Shield, once again, I love getting defensive stats on Slayers, it amuses me, just in the same manner that it amuses me to get maximum amount of speed on slow-moving units. Or typically slow-moving units, I should say. Maybe not no more. Deadly Blade for you, sir, and Woundmaker. You hit pretty hard, but you can always hit harder. And Dragon Slayer. I guess we'll go for Deadly Onslaught, so let's get Blade Shield into Deadly Onslaught. Still haven't decided between these, but we'll decide eventually. Alright, Axe of Dargo time. Oh, this looks pretty decent. Especially with the reinforcements. Ooh, and they're high veterancy too. I like it a lot. The Chaos Warriors are, but the Marauders are low veterancy. Huh, that makes sense. I really like that. Let's do it. Do we want the Wailing Banner on anybody? And put it on the Dragonback Slayers. Sure, why not? It feels like they might cause some fear and terror. Go. Ungrim will meet the Chaos Scum in the high peaks of his mountain realm. This will be a battle hard won, for the Northmen come as if sent by the Chaos Gods themselves to end the discordant song within the Axe of Dargo. A bitter fight then, and one the Slayer King must win.
There across the way, the discordance. For the Axe of Dargo to sing again, for the runes to glow bright with power once more. We must destroy the foe before us, the chaos filth that dare cross our mountains. We do this in the name of Grimnir, for it will be a joy to spill the blood of Northmen. The enemy lord is a taint upon the world, yet in fighting him, I shall make a thing of wondrous beauty, a perfect song of weaponcraft, in whose rhythm the axe of my ancestor shall find harmony anew. Slayers, I hear your howls of longing, desperate to be about this, to plunge your axes into the chaos scum before us. So, go, bring me victory, bring me death.
Alrighty, here we go. A nice speech, though I personally find it very amusing that Ungrim and I guess the Dwarfs in general have this tendency to be a little long-winded, but especially you're commanding an army of Slayers and is gonna take like, a million years making the speech while his whole army is just like frothing at the mouth to go on and die, and this guy just keeps talking. It's pretty great. Anyway, Ungrim will be heading towards the enemy army. Looks like we got a fairly long way to travel as well, and if the enemy is not going to have any artillery, we may as well move at least some of our forces up towards them. Of course, they do have at least a couple of Marauder horses to harass our Doomseekers or any of the other Slayers, which I'm sure are going to take a decent bit of damage on their approach with the, well, they do have 55% missile resistance, huh? I gotta remember to try to build a few of those shrines that give missile resistance. Granted, the shrines only give us 2 missile resistance per shrine, so it's, I mean, we need a lot of them to make them count, but at least for the Doomseekers, with their high missile resistance already, and we can get it up to max or near max pretty darn quickly. So, there is that to consider. Plus, of course, in Ungrim's army, they can't actually die until they are below 50% HP, so at least we won't be losing models even if the HP drops. Now, I'm going to speed this up a little bit as we move forward, and get ready to fight. Now, we have our units of the Giant Slayers, which are going to try to do a little bit of that good old-fashioned rock, paper, scissoring, as they try to find the enemy Chaos Knights and Chariots and whatnot, though it looks like the enemy army is, for whatever reason, surprisingly annoyed enough to start moving towards us immediately. Not like we've attacked them or done any damage, so I'm impressed with the forces of Chaos for actually moving forward. Anyway, the Giant Slayers charge towards the Chaos Knights and will slowly, or maybe not so slowly, start bringing them down. There we go. I was hoping one of them would fall exactly as I said that. Our main line, in the meantime, our Doomseekers will head directly towards the enemy blobs of Chaos Warriors. Garagrim is going to go after the Chaos Lord, while Ongrim stays with his Everguard in order to, command them, as it were, just the sort of armored core of the army. Over on the right flank, we've got our most dangerous position, as the 2 units of Doomseekers there are going to start taking damage to all those piles of Marauders and Chaos Warriors, but we do have more units of Slayers moving in from the right flank, getting ready to help them out as soon as they can. And it looks like while these guys are taking a lot of damage, they're giving out a lot of damage as well, now down to half of their HP and are starting to lose models, so we're going to have to be careful. And that's with the Rune of Oath and Steel helping them out. Nonetheless, the one unit that took the most damage has sent a unit of Chaos Warriors and a unit of Marauders routing, and those other Slayers have nearly arrived to help them out. Center of the line, the Brotherhood of Grimnir and another unit of Doomseekers fighting together and spinning to win. I still think it looks a little bit silly when they all do that at the same time, and I really think that the ability should have them do it at a sort of stagger, so it doesn't look like they're, like automatons and they all immediately do it, because it takes me out of the immersion a little bit. On the other hand, it does make me laugh every time, and I guess that's never a bad thing. Anyway, the enemy's melee infantry are in shambles at this point, and it looks like the only thing the enemy has going for it is that it's got some reinforcements moving on to the battlefield. 4 units of Chaos Knights, and that's just fine. While our Doomseekers led the charge, as they always do, said Doomseekers also took most of the damage, and the Giant Slayers are more or less perfectly fine. We'll send the Giant Slayers to counteract the charge of all those Chaos Knights. And do they have any other lore? No new lord among them. Well, it sucks to be them, I guess. Alrighty, Giant Slayer's gonna charge on in, pretty quick moving by the looks of it. Out of curiosity, the Chaos Knights are at 70 speed and the Giant Slayers are at 52. Not quite as fast as the Knights, but still pretty darn fast. And that's 4 Chaos Knights for 4 units of Giant Slayers, which is pretty perfect by the looks of it. And they are in, there we go, lots of anti-large available to us, and the first of the enemy Chaos Knights start going down, their HP dropping massively, very quickly, however, as they're all at about 50% of their HP already. We'll bring in a few of the non-too-badly damaged Slayers in to help out, while we overrun all those Chaos Knights. And there we go, Knights are dropping, they try to escape, but in vain by the looks of it, as the Slayers aren't letting them run. And the last one is brought down as they get killed to a knight, and 1 unit remains in the fight, but probably not for too long either, as they turn and rout, shatter, and give the battle to us. And give the battle to us. There we go. Alright, there we go. Lovely to see the sort of specialized units do their thing, and watching those Chaos Knights, rank 9 Chaos Knights I might add, go down to the Giant Slayers. It was just fantastic. Not a lot of money, but we don't care at this point, but we got plenty of XP, which we definitely did do and, have done caring about. I guess we will take the healing? We'll want to auto-resolve Akka, and what if this unit dies? Yeah, fine. Take the healing. And there we go, Axe of Dargo is now ours, a little bit of upkeep reduction, magical attacks, and another active ability for Mr. Ungrim. Speaking of Mr. Ungrim, let's go and seal that Nemesis crown, shall we? Go here. This is not worth fighting because it's kind of terrible. And he's gonna run. Oh, maybe we can't catch him. I guess we're about to find out. He's been sitting here for like 10 turns. I feel like they were, I don't know, going to attack us at some point, but anyway. Oh, let's seal that crown. Funnily enough, we could keep it. I don't think anybody would care, especially since the gifts given to our allies, the Imperials have given us like plus 1,000 bonus relationship with them, so the negatives don't matter. It's just that A, it doesn't feel like a very doughy thing to do, to take it rather than seal it away, and B, the crown isn't particularly useful for melee army, or well, it's somewhat useful. It's better for a ranged army, at least in the buffs that it gives to that particular army. So, yeah. Like so. And yeah, take the crown gives us this. So it gives weapon strength, but also missile strength and... Oh, maybe I was misremembering. I thought it'd give missile strength and reload, but it looks like it just gives weapon strength and missile strength. Well, either way. Maybe this is just the base version of the crown, and then a higher level version gives us a better crown. Either way, we're going to go Forsaken Crown, because we don't really need that. Yeah, alright. Seal the crown. Such dark power is much too dangerous to reside in anyone's hands. Seal it away for eternity. However, it may reappear again. Well, we'll see about that. Alright, Sky Titan String. Haven't been using those, but there isn't too much need to do so. Nemesis Crown, sealed away. Torn from the cold, dead hands of its previous bearer, Ungrim Iron Fist of Karaz-a-Karak, the Nemesis Crown's corruption seeps out in every direction. Proclaimed too dangerous to ever be put to use, it has been cast away instead, sealed beneath countless protections so that its wickedness may never reappear. Never say never. Anyway, let's get you into March stance and, well, keep on marching. Might have you stop briefly in some of Drycha's territory as well. Can't have Azrael do all the work, since you're both going up here anyway together to fight Greenskins and Chaos and whoever. You may as well take out Drycha's territories. At least this way these territories can't then fall to anybody else. Anyway, I've lost the order, I think, so let's see who's next. Dunbar Ranulfson is fine. Morgus Death Dealer, Kazran Grimbrow, I think we were going to fight with, but we'll leave that until we actually fight. Belegar's Besieging, with the idea that he'll have the enemy sally out and fight him. Ah! Skeggy Threxen, you've completed your latest Outrider unit for the Slowdown army, meaning you can go into encamp stance, go here, or as far as you can go, whatever. And we'll transfer that unit. Now we just need the engineers. We got our first one, I think. Gautry Whitebeard. I assume you're for this army? Metal Slinger? Yeah, that sounds like the appropriate one for a slowdown army. You can pop the Outrider in. And that'll be the 4th Outrider. The only thing we're now missing in this army is 2 engineers and 2 more grudge throwers with even more slowdown. Alright, and then Skeggy Threxen, what do you have, by the way? You're vengeful. Oh, so you're actually a good lord, and on top of that you have... Huh. I'll think about this. There might be something that we might actually do with you. Go back to Kazad Weirworn for now, as if we need to recruit more stuff, we'll recruit it there, not at Kirik Grom, as we don't really have anything to build there. Oh! Is that a new turn? I guess we can upgrade some stuff here, can't we? Okay, I guess I didn't do the buildings. Alright, we'll have to do the buildings. Alrighty, Dwinbar Ranulfson, you've moved. Morngard doesn't need to move. Alaric Ranulfson. You, the new guy, one of the new guys. This is just an auto-resolve army. We'll see how it performs. If the Rangers keep getting killed by the auto-resolve, we'll just replace them with something else, because this army doesn't really, or most likely will not need to fight. You can't go in March stance, and no, you can't. Alright, fine. Just go here. And then towards the reaping field. How strong is Karas? Oh, it looks like he's going all the way up here. As we know from Thorgrim's campaign, the starting point of Archaon is right here at the Tower of Torment, so all of this would have to be broken through to get to Archie. We're probably not going to go all that way, but, you know, who knows? Brock Ironpick, I haven't yet decided where to move you. I was going to potentially send you out to kill some of the... undead here. We do want to deal with Salignac La Rouge, but I guess we can send Story Azrael down there as well. I think we'll do that. You, with your all-range army, and get your first debut battle at Salignac. And then that doesn't decide where we send Brock. Frankly, his army isn't as it should be in the sense that it's just piles of units drawn from other armies. And if we want to keep him, we'll actually want to give him an army. But for now, while he's moving, while we consolidate this area, which remains in danger... Oh, you know what? We're going to declare war on these guys shortly, so I think you might actually have to take care of Bufdar. So go right here beside it, and then get ready to fight it. Anybody else? Morgus Death Dealer, Mourngard, Whitebeard, Belegar. Obviously, the Mournguards don't need to move. Guardians don't need to move. Unless I'm mistaken. Could rebuild some stuff. As in give them proper armies. It's just that they're kind of isolated up here, very, very far away from our main territories. So I kind of don't like the idea of moving them without building a ton more armies. And I don't want to build a ton more armies because it's already a hassle dealing with all the armies that we currently have. Kadrin Redbeard, you are a new army. You're just waiting for heroes, which you will still need, but start moving down here for now. Mourngard, you need to position yourself here where you can block off the passes into the mountains. That has obviously not changed. And we might actually replace you with like a Rune Lord or something because you are not really a ranged army. So I think we just got this overseer from the Confederation, which is why he's like that. Anyway, Ulfar Norgrimling, you need to find yourself a fight, like an actual proper fight for your debut. And another engineer, and replace some of these Anangau Grenadiers with some Outriders once we again have the Allegiance available, which we do not as yet. Alright, so you stay there. Anybody else? Who's Strong Red Man? I was one of the runesmiths out here waiting to join a new army. You're fine. And oh, I guess that was the last guy. Alright, so two things. First of all, building, which I'm willing to bet is not much. We're waiting to upgrade Crookback Mountain. Oh, did I maybe just miss that one territory? Maybe that was the case. Yeah, I think I did do the buildings, and it's just that one territory I missed. Meaning, we can ignore this, and let's fight with Kazaran Grimbrow. I still like the idea of having him lead an army, and I do like his trait well enough. Let's get him stand your ground. You have no rank 7s other than the Fire and Fury one, which already gets benefit out of Dowie Firepower, so we don't need that. You're venerating Grimnir because reasons, even though you don't have... Actually, you do have Grimnir's heirs. I mean, I guess without resetting you, we could still make use of you in your current state. I don't dislike the idea. Let's get you lords in waiting, and let's get you grudges to settle, I guess. And we'll figure out what we do with your army rather than just pile of random troops as we go. I'm just going to figure out what sort of allied units we can put in here to make this interesting. Anyway, I do think that this is worthy of our attention as a fight. Minus one thing. You are supposed to be a Bugman's Ranger. Like so. And I don't like the fact that there's one Thunder with Drake Guns and one regular Thunderer, but we'll probably modify that to some degree. Frankly, these Dwarf Warriors should also probably be upgraded to Longbeards here. Although Tactician lends itself better to using hybrid units because it gives reload, melee attack, and melee defense, but specifically melee defense and reload for dwarf shielded units, meaning any range units with shields would benefit from both of those abilities. So Bugman's Rangers, so guns of, or Quarrelers, or Thunderers, or really any type of those units. Yes. Throw in a few Slayers of some kind in there. Maybe that'll work. Anyway, we'll figure this out as we go. For now, go to Kazad Frukund, and let's do this fight because it looks fun. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Kazaran Grimbrow has had some pretty decent fights after his random confederation there, so I've been pretty happy with him, and I imagine that he'll be getting a pretty darn decent fight here as well. In part, I would say, because of this being one of the frozen mountain landscape territories. which is always really nice for battles because everything is nice and visible. Anyway, we're going to start with our Vanguard deployed units. That means all 4 of our Rangers, 2 Bugmans, and 2 Axe Throwers in case the enemy gets close enough to charge. Sort of. Oh, actually, no, I didn't bring the Bugmans. I brought the Gyrocopters, that's right. And nonetheless, they're Vanguard deployed. They do a little bit of damage to the enemy Black Knights with the hopes of annoying the enemy army into moving towards us. And we'll do a little bit more work with those Gyrocopters, and it looks like there we go. With that, the enemy is coming. Here come the bats, and here come the flamethrowers, knocking a decent amount of them out of the sky before they decide to envelop Mr. Karaz Grimbrow himself. As to whether that's a decent idea, not so much. They have no chance of dealing out any damage to him, and the Iron Drakes clear them all out pretty darn rapidly. However, the bats did block the Iron Drakes from firing and allowing the Black Knights to actually close the distance, forcing the unit of Hammerers that was deployed directly behind the Iron Drakes to move on into the fray. There's more bats up in the sky, but they're going for our units of Gyrocopters this time, and thanks to those Shrines of Grugni, we've got a plus 12 melee defense on them, so I guess we have a plus 12, we have 12 Shrines of Grugni right now, which does mean that these guys are a lot more difficult to do damage to with the super weak melee attack bats than the Gyrocopters might otherwise be used to. Otherwise, the formation is thus: we have the 2 units of Thunderers out front between the units of Dwarf Warriors and Longbeards, Hammerers directly behind the Iron Drakes, and then the units of Bugmans, Quarrelers, and Rangers with great weapons behind all of them, plus the Miners, basically all the units that are able to lob or shoot over the heads of the other units are, well, ready to do so. Anyway, the aerial ballet continues, and slowly but surely the bats get whittled down by these spinning rotors of those Gyrocopters. And the blades blending bats pretty nicely. That said, there's always more bats where that came from, cheap and reasonably effective as they are if you're willing to sacrifice them. And the vampire counts, especially under the AI, are pretty willing to do so, gotta admit. Otherwise, it does look like some of the enemies have arrived on our flanks. Unit of Black Knights tries to charge through our Dwarf Warriors and distracts them with, surprisingly, the Doggos deciding to go for the Dwarf Warriors rather than the Rangers with great weapons, as in the Throwing Axe Rangers, that were there as well. That works perfectly well for us, as the Rangers can start chucking those axes and obliterating those Doggos rather quickly. The enemy's main host is not yet here, still plenty more melee troops ready to move in, and we do still have to be careful about that. Thunderers have been thundering away a little bit, up to 23 kills and a solid 7,000 damage if the unit of Doggos wants to move within their line of sight. And I guess they're probably slowed as they're trying to get uphill as well. And it looks like they'll back off rather than attack from this direction. Too bad for them. And, well, wouldn't you know, we've got more bats, but fortunately the flamethrowers are pretty good at dishing out damage up in the sky, and these guys took a, let's see, what, 20% damage before they landed, just with those units alone. And while they will land upon the Thunderers with Drake guns, we don't really want them to annoy those guys too much, and we'll instead move another unit to dish out damage to them in melee, including Karaz Grimbrow, who's sort of running around in the front line, getting ready to reposition himself. He does have that Ranger standard after all, and he does have stand your ground, so if anybody, or if a sufficient number of units should charge somebody, then we can pop that off. Ooh, nice bonk! 2 bats with a single big bonk, I love it. Well done, sir. And dropping some bombs on some of the enemies with our Gyrocopters, who are flying around annoying the enemy. Looks like the first elements of the main infantry force have arrived as well, and here come the Iron Drakes and the blasting charges. I'm going to try to whittle down those critical units, the Grave Guard and the enemy units of Crypt Ghouls, basically anything that has a decent chance of doing damage as compared to skeletons and zombies. Alrighty, and the Grave Guard are having a difficult time making their way up this sort of scorched patch of earth. And the scorching will continue until morale improves. Although I gotta say our morale is pretty good right now, as the enemy is still failing to make their way up the hill. They've got a massive hill to climb, and we've taken advantage of the high elevation of the mountainous territories in many a battle. I mean, dwarfs should absolutely take advantage of it. Gotta defend their mountain passes, their homes. And they should damn well know the terrain pretty well. Anyway, the Drake guns now combining with those Iron Drakes to work on those Graveguard, who are having a pretty bad day here. Classic combination that we've been working with throughout the entire campaign, doubling up on the fire weakness and fire damage. Even if we only have the one Drake gun unit and I guess one Iron Drake in this army, it's more than enough for the center of the enemy line. What isn't enough, however, is our ammunition. We're down to about half on the Rangers with great weapons. Miners are nearly out. The Bugman's Rangers are almost completely depleted, and even the Iron Drakes are slowly but surely running out, with still a fair few enemy melee units remaining. Decent likelihood we'll be having to move into melee with a few units, but that's just fine. In fact, I'm sure many of our forces would have it no other way. Anyway, the blasting charges continue to go, quarrels, bullets, and a little bit of everything, as this army was just a bunch of random units from various armies from Confederation, and is sort of functioning like a generalist force. But that's not a bad thing at all. Alright, a few more nice shots into the enemy's main line of Graveguard. There's still a few on the approach. Kazran decided to try to head off the enemy Vampire, who decided to then run away. Man, running away really fast downhill. Why are you doing this, AI? That's actually curious. I don't know why this vampire decided to just go up, take a couple of hits from Kazran, lose half of her HP, and then just straight up run away. Still an interesting thing to see. Almost like the units have a little bit more agency and more intelligent control than the AI is generally known for. Anyway, the enemy is still trying to make their way up that hill with their super slow movement, and the elevation, it's really not working so well for the undead. What is working, however, is depleting our ammunition, as we're down to about 10 to 20% on almost all the units, with one exception, the Drake guns, because they have like 1 billion ammunition. And ooh, we've even got a unit of Spirit Hosts moving in all the way from the right flank, huh? Well, good for them. Perhaps the AI should have sent the Spirit Hosts in earlier. Yes, they would have been destroyed, but they could have eaten up a lot more ammunition than Graveguard or Skeletons or Doggos or whatever. Alright, Thunderers are still thundering away as well. How are you guys for ammunition? These guys are still pretty okay. Thunderers and Drake guns, I guess just Thunderer units in general, not super likely to actually run out of ammo compared to everybody else. Alright, just trying to make sure that they snipe those doggos so that they can't get around us. The bounce power has shifted to about, let's say, 80% in our favor at this point, and while a few units remain, there's not too many. That said, those that do remain are looking like they'll close the distance. Iron Drakes are empty, Bugman's Rangers are empty, Miners are empty. Looks like the Rangers with great weapons, or the Throwing Axe Rangers, are nearly empty as well. And as soon as everybody's done, we're going to send in the Longbeards and the Hammerers to clean up. Skeletons have arrived with some of those units of Spirit Hosts on our right flank, but the enemy has no hope anymore. With our ammunition stores depleted, here come the Longbeards and the Hammerers. The Hammerers will, of course, smash that corpse cart, or those corpse carts, formerly those corpse carts, asunder, while the Longbeards take care of the remaining zombies, skeletons, Graveguard, whatever other infantry the enemy has. And Kazran himself has gone after the enemy lord, who is attempting to escape, but is probably not fast enough. 25 move speed, and we've got 38 now. Alrighty, as odd as it may seem to have fast dwarfs, that's what we've been working with in this particular campaign. And try to make as much good use of it as possible. Ooh, nice final bonk to the enemy Necromancer, who loses his head. The enemy's main line completely collapses, and only the unit of Spirit Hosts remains on field. And just a few more. Oh, we actually have a couple more throwing axes ready to be thrown. Well, I think this is the only unit that still has ammunition that isn't a Thunderer unit. Interesting that the axe heads get completely buried in the ground, and just the sort of hafts sticking out. Huh. Should Spirit Hosts or Ghostly units even have units actually, or have weapons get stuck to them. They're ethereal. Shouldn't be happening. Speaking of ethereal, one last unit of ghosties from us as we summon the ancestral shield bearers on the battlefield to deal with the last of the enemy ghosts. And why didn't we summon them earlier? Simply because you need to be in melee time to be able to get the cooldown off cooldown. If that made sense. And Kazran wasn't in the battle for a long time. Still, look at all that pile of corpses attempting to reach our line. This is where our line, as the main range piles, never moved, and most of the enemy died on the approach with the bats here and the Black Knights, who are the only ones really able to reach us, and of course the flanking units with more Black Knights and piles of doggos. Heroic victory, and I gotta say, a really nice fight. All right, there we go. Really fun fight. I always get a kick out of when all of our units run out of ammunition, as they did here. I also want to point out that with the bleed on those throwing weapons, our rangers with throwing axes got 29k and 25k damage, more than the Bugmans or the Grudge Settler Quarrelers, and more than anybody but the one of the Thunderers units, the Gyrocopters, obviously the Iron Drakes, but yeah, still very, very nice. They combine well with certain units, just are dangerous to our own as well. A lovely little fight for Mr. Kazran Grimbrow. Alright, Kazad Frukund is now ours, and I want to point out that it is a key dwarf settlement as well. We won't upgrade it because we want to upgrade Karak. Oh, Karak will be taking a tier 3, meaning it's pointless to save, so whatever. Alrighty, and we'll build a defense gear as well as... Oh, I decided to build a ranger building here. Okay, wait. Oh, it's because well, we're probably going to delete some of the buildings here. We have no mine here, although we very well could at this point collect money. Let's go for the scrap mine. Maybe we'll do this. We'll delete the... wait. Kazad Frukund, maybe you should have the Rangers building since you're out at the edge of the territory. We'll build the mine here, and we'll build the Ranger building here, and we'll probably delete the Engineer's Workshop at Karak-a-Karak. Just not right now, but later on. Especially not deleting the garrisons here, because again, the massive Skaven Empire here means that they could jump into the mountains and annoy us at any point in time. Anyway, with that battle fought, I believe that's all the moves we had to make, so we're free to skip, and end the turn, minus the potential outposts. Wait, feels like I haven't taken a look at any incomplete outposts. Aha, Daughters of the Forest, tier 3. Jade Court, yep, forgot about you. Forgot that you existed, to be perfectly frank, because you're not doing so well out there. Vissenland wants us to kill Vlad for like the 80,000th time, which we will certainly accept doing. And Defenders of the Great Plan, Central Confederacy, North Confederacy, and Knight Avengers of Brienne. You're good. Rota of the Dawn. You may or may not survive, depending on whether Thoric can hunt down Archie. So it's looking like end turn time. Let's end the turn. Alright, there we are. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Wurzag will indeed sally out with his 2 stacks to face off against Finn Arkand Raskelson, and we should enjoy ourselves here. So, Rangers Standard, not really needed on anybody, but I suppose the Thane might need to reposition, so let's put it on the Thane. I gotta remember to get a Lichbone Pennant for the Grim Delvers as well, as they could really use the magical damage. Anyway, looks like a very fun fight. Valiant defeat, casualties high, and that's what we like to see. Go Finn. Alrighty, here we go. Love that first volley as all the cannons and the organ guns fire at the same time across the entire map. We've got 560 range on the organ guns and 900 range on the cannons. Let's see how they do on the enemy's approach. Now, The organ guns are pretty good at knocking out things like trolls, so they're going to be trying to focus down the trolls. One of the cannons is going to go after Wurzag, and, well, basically everybody's targeting the targets that they should be targeting, as one does. Going to try to knock out as many boar boys, pump wagons, chariots, trolls, etc. as we can, largely leaving the enemy infantry lines intact because, well, the artillery types that we have here aren't particularly great at knocking out too many infantry. I mean, the organ guns could, but we only have 2 of them, and they're better served in doing the trolls and other such critical targets. Wurzag down to about a quarter, maybe a third of his HP, and probably won't be able to take too many more volleys from those cannons, though any stray shots will hit other critical targets, hopefully, so that ain't too bad. And it's a long way to the hill that we're holding, all the way out here. A little plateau or whatever to our back. And I can't wait to see our Thunderers. Oh, speaking of Thunderers, start thundering away. We've got 323 range on the Thunderers. Their range is nearly the same as that of a Goblin Rocklobber artillery piece. They're basically, well, our Thunderers have essentially been turned into Hawkland long rifles. In fact, I think they might slightly outrange them. Granted, you could buff the long rifles to have greater range as well, but longer than base range, which is still pretty good. Alrighty, I love listening to this army just fire away those organ guns going. I gotta remember to get the, in future campaigns, get the mod that does the sort of smoke effects, or increases the smoke effects on the units. At least they've already added the reload animations, which are pretty nice and certainly necessary. Anyway, enemy continues on the approach. Bounce power still remains in the enemy's favor, of course, but, well, they've still got a fairly long way to travel. Looks like they finally reached the range of the Grimdelvers, who will begin shotgunning them all the way from here. How much damage they'll do at this distance, I'm not sure, but the closer the enemy gets, the more effective those shotguns will be. Not that they're going to be too bad at range, it's just that a lot of the shots will hit the ground instead. Alright, it does look like some of the enemies on the flanks are going to reach our lines fairly soon. I see boar boys, flappers, boar chariots, and trolls all coming in. We're going to counteract that with the Rune of Negation, giving us 40% damage resistance on the urban warfare operators, who are going to have to hold off a lot of stuff. And in addition, we're even going to help them out by giving them entrenchment as well in a few seconds. So that's another 20% physical resistance as soon as more enemies charge in. In the meantime, it's all guns, all glory as we continue firing away at whatever enemies try to close the distance. I fear that the enemy's melee line, at least, will be unable to reach our hill here. You gotta love Dwarven armies for doing this sort of thing, and Imperial armies as well. And we did a similar sort of thing with the gun-heavy army, or armies in the Cathay campaign, basically any of the gun-heavy armies. Alrighty, it does look like at least on the right flank, or the left flank rather, the enemy has reached us. Entrenchment is keeping the urban warfare operators alive, but they're still starting to take damage, down to about half HP. Looks like some of the enemy goblins have actually made it to our line, and there's still a lot of enemy range units firing away at us. Frankly, the melee isn't as threatening by the looks of it as the range will be, because that is a lot of enemy arrow boys to contend with, and they do hit reasonably hard as well, even if their accuracy is kind of meh. Alright, that said, the balance of power is at about 65% in our favor. Now still just a ton of enemy range units, but now our artillery are going to soon start switching to the enemy range units. As that's what you gotta do. Thunderers still firing away and into the backs of those boar boy biggins as they attempt to back off, but there are still plenty of savage orcs embroiled in the fight against the urban warfare operators, who are still bravely holding that flank. One of our engineers has moved out, dropped a few bombs in the enemy lines of archers, or arrow boys. And the guns just keep firing. I don't know how many kills you've gotten so far. 31 kills, 3.6k damage. Yeah, still not that much. I mean, it looks like they have such a high amount of damage on them, 3.5k missile strength, but they're still barely able to do anything. He was firing at Wurzag when he came back as well, when he rallied. I really feel like they should change the Guildmaster's weapon, the little Gatling gun that he has, to fire just actually like a Rattling gun does. Just this sort of non-stop, constant stream of fire. rather than the, like, I don't know, half dozen shots that he does. It looks like he fires 1 round out of every barrel. Almost like a Null Ironside type fire, actually, which is kind of interesting. I just feel like, well, a ranged lords already kind of get the shaft and aren't particularly effective. Granted, the Overseers are here to buff the army, and damn well do they buff the army, but still would be nice to be able to actually build a ranged lord that is actually a powerhouse in terms of damage dealing. Anyway, with that, the enemy army will break. A lovely fight for all our gunners, and of course, for us, the fight is not over in the sense that the enemy's got a long way to travel. Look at the cannons range across nearly the entire map, basically, so we'll be firing away at them as they run for quite the while. Alrighty, there we go. Very fun. I really enjoy watching this gunnery army. I think it's one of the most entertaining armies just to watch, especially when it holds a kill in this manner, firing in every which way. It's pretty great. Urban warfare operators actually surprisingly got little in the way of damage, but for example, let's see, these guys got 222 kills compared to the 34 of these, but had less damage as gold value. The urban warfare operators were on the very left flank, where they got charged repeatedly by enemy boar boys, trolls, etc., etc. So they were holding that entire flank themselves, so it makes sense that they did a lot of damage as gold value. The Dowie handshake, however, got the kills and the damage dealt regular. Gromrel Company and Thunder of the Mountains also did well as well, hovering around 30 to 35k. All the cannons, Zipbar Steel Sights, Iron Head Takers, Big Bada Boom, Sweet Music, and Melody of Destruction. And damn, specifically Sweet Music, 52,000 damage, 305 kills. Pretty darn solid against this army. I fear that we're gonna have to heal up because, well, who knows if our siege will survive or break. Let's find out. And it looks like that the Bloody Hands will attack Mr. Belegar as well. Fair enough, this is only the 1 stack rather than the 2, but it's still a Pyrrhic victory apparently. We are still using miners in this army, but, well, with every turn, they get stronger. Tier 1 unit, 97 armor, 4650 melee attack and defense. Pretty darn good. Go.
Yes, my king, today is a great day. Let the grudge be settled. Let vengeance begin. Roar!
Alrighty, here we go. Vengeance begins with some Vanguard deployment. We've had the guns do their nice battle. Let's, well, guns and cannons. And here we're going to do bolt throwers and crossbows. Anyway, Vanguard deployed the miners and the units of Bugman's Rangers to try to do as much damage to sort of the left of the enemy's flank, their right flank, our left flank, to try to collapse as much of that as possible before the main portion of the enemy army arrives. Took a little bit of time for Belegar to close the distance, but we do speed him and his ghost pals up with a nice rune of speed. Plus, of course, the ghosts have Strider on them. At least they should. Yes, they do. And they'll be able to close the distance reasonably quick. Still a lot of units of boar boys and boys to work through while Belegar hits the Achilles heel of the giant, who turns in a rage and begins their duel. And there we go. That's probably going to take a while, though admittedly Belegar does hit very hard. 175 armor, 93, 97 melee attack and defense unbuffed, and nearly 1,000 weapon strength unbuffed as well. So I would imagine that the giant has no hope of winning the actual fight. Otherwise, the enemy is still moving towards us. We got a nice little distributed sort of front rather than a blob going on, with the miners out front with sort of holes in the line. Not that we have guns to shoot through them, but just to essentially spread out our front line should we need to take enemies in melee. Anyway, the giant is running now, having done absolutely no damage whatsoever to Belegar, who bonks a troll and knocks him out. And that looks like that's enough. He'll leave the ghost pals to go after the trolls who are going to rout, but is moving now into the to our right flank as the enemies and got another giant coming in and some black orcs as well. It's the giant that we're more concerned with. Belegar's already defeated one in a duel, and now he has a bit of a taste for giant slaying. You don't need to be a slayer to do giant slaying, so why not? Our Bugman's Rangers are still firing away in a nice little formation and continue to menace the enemies on the approach, though the Black Orcs will be arriving soon. And let's see, just out of curiosity, we got 54 melee attack and 39 melee defense on them, compared to the 46 and 50 on the miners. Pretty solid. I mean, ours are high veterancy and just buffed to all heck. Belegar does buff miners after all, as well as those rangers. So hopefully they can hold against the Black Orcs for a little while. And besides, miners are armor piercing to a decent degree, 23 weapon strength, although their weapon strength is minuscule compared to the great weapons of the Black Orcs. Anyway, the giant has moved past Belegar, but Belegar is on the approach. Another hit to that Achilles heel, and it looks like the giant will turn. Gonna take many an arrow to the back, however. Although they are by and large, or many a quarrel, by and large bouncing off his thick hide, he is down to 50% HP already. In the meantime, however, some enemy boar boys have taken the time, the entire 3 minutes of the battle, to loop around us, smashing into the back of our line. Fortunately, we have been managing to protect our artillery and have moved some Bugman's Rangers to see those boar boys off. The Rangers have 90 armor and 63 melee defense. They are a hybrid unit after all, and can certainly hold off basic boar boys decently well. Plus they look awesome. Alright. And it does look like another unit of Savage Orc Biggins has arrived and is now in a fight with another unit of Bugman's Rangers. And hopefully liquid fortification will keep them alive long enough to face off against these melee troops. Otherwise, the Black Orcs are pretty much done. We have summoned a unit of Ancestral Shield Bearers together with Belegar, and have used the Horn of the Ancestors to summon another Ghostly Thane, who's one of these three, I don't know which. And it looks like with that, the battle is pretty much ours. 90% bounce power in our favor. The enemy big boys have been defeated, as in the enemy giants. Just a matter of cleaning up those units that are still rushing around, i.e. the boar boys. But I don't think they're going to manage to knock out those artillery pieces anymore. Especially with them firing away at them at nearly point blank, and the Bugman's Rangers screening them and preventing them from charging. No dice, beautiful. Looks like the boar boys are out. A couple more volleys from the Bugmans will see the rest of them gone. Does look like another reasonably healthy unit has moved on in. But the Bugmans continue to hold. I probably should have kept at least one ghost pal that isn't the engineer one back here to help these guys out, but, you know. We're fine, and we did reinforce shortly afterwards. Anyway, with that, the enemy army breaks, and the battle is ours. Beautiful. And another giant will surely topple shortly. Oh, right, I forgot how hard Belegar hits. Damn.
Get away from these lands. They're all dwarfs.
Yeah, he actually does about 1,000 damage to the giant per hit. Poor giant. One more hit, and down goes Big Boy. And I guess you can't crush ghosts, because the ghosts don't care about the giant toppling over onto them. Beautiful. Alright, there we go. No problem at all. Oh, one of the savage giants did survive, and frankly, a lot of the troops did escape the actual battle, which is a bit of a shame. Hopefully, the auto-resolve doesn't continue to think that this army is weak and allows us to destroy what remains here, but I guess we'll see afterwards. Anyway, still very well done to Mr. Belegar and all of his Bugman's Rangers. 34,000 damage, roughly. And I like the fact that we were able to fight this battle sort of in a wide distributed sort of army rather than a blob, which was pretty neat here. Alright, here we go, a new age of reckoning, and pretty nice Grudge Settler army. At least we have a flame cannon and 3 iron drakes this time, though no Grudge Settler gyrocopter. Now, out of curiosity, we are at 101,880. I mean, it's not horrific, minus the fact that at turn 101, our total settled grudges so far are 238,000, so it's a little under half of what we've done throughout the entire campaign. Still a crazy amount. As to whether we can achieve it, I guess it remains to be seen, because we're entering a new age. Ever a new age of reckoning. Go. Why the heck not at this point? And there we go, a Great Green Killer, physical resistance 10 and charge bonus, which is pretty darn useless for this particular army, and why I wanted this particular defeat trait for Thorgrim. He is about to turn away, so if we stay here and these guys don't sally out, we might still be able to get him this, mostly because it amuses me to give him more charge bonus, and frankly his melee troops as well. And the extra physical resistance wouldn't be too bad for him either, because he's always running out in front of the rest of his army. Plus, I guess if we move him up this way, we can have him go after Teclis, just because it's funny, and there's, well, a good argument to be made for doing that, just because it's funny. Anyway, with that, folks, we're out of time. I'm going to call the episode here. Next time, it's a new turn, and okay, ancillaries, please. Oh my lord, alright. Million ancillaries, there we go. And hey, near 700,000 gold. Just gotta try to make the goal for the campaign to make it 1 million gold per turn. That might be nice. And certainly, it does seem possible. Anyway, like I said, I'm gonna call it here. We're going to continue sort of building up the territories of the Empire before transferring them, because I don't want to transfer them until they're in a good shape. But anyway, next time we'll wipe out Vlad for good, and oh, I forgot to attack with Bugman, or auto-resolve with Bugman. Oh, whatever. Bit of a waste of a turn. Huh, maybe we can cancel the siege and go after Vlad from here, since he's stuck in Halstead. And he does have something of an army now. Would be a proper debut for Bugman's army in his caravan. So yeah, I think that's what we'll do next time. So we'll knock out Vlad. We'll work on knocking out Drycha as well as, well, we're very much underway to doing so already. And if it isn't Drycha herself, we can get King Azrael her defeat trait, though. As I recall, it's quite useless. Isn't it just you're immune to the woods attrition? Just kind of irrelevant. But anyway, can't have her just suddenly attacking us or our Imperial allies or anything of that nature. And we will keep advancing out here. Gotta try to knock out the vampire counts of the Barrow Legion, as well as the very strong, apparently, Pirates of Sartosa, strength rank 22. Pretty solid. We also do have to consider the Clan Scryer, Skaven, and Ironclaw works. But we'll have to stay tuned for that. So stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially, well, not the threshold, because we're done with that part of the campaign, but they will still determine how long we keep running this for. So all glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.